Hello, welcome back to LK Tuition. My name's Lucas and today we're going to look at inverse proportion. Hope you're well and let's get started. Okay, so we've done direct proportion in a previous video and now it's time for inverse proportion. So y is called inversely proportional to x if it can be written as y equals something divided by x. So a is just some number. Now remember, direct proportion was y equals something times x. Inverse proportion is y equals something divided by x. And y and x can be different. It could be e and f. If e is inversely proportional to f, e can be written as something divided by f. Okay, so inverse just means something divided by whatever you're inversely proportional to. Okay, and then what you can do is you'll get information in the question to figure out what that number a is. Okay, so as in the other video, it's a lot easier just to do some examples. So feel free to have a go yourself, otherwise we shall just try together. Alright, so y is inversely proportional to x. When y is 30, x is 5. And the first part says find a formula for y in terms of x. So if y is inversely proportional to x, we can start by just writing y equals something divided by x. Then we can use these bits of information they've given us to figure out what that something is. So y is 30, x is 5. So 30 is something divided by 5, and we can times up by 5 to find out what that something is. So 5 times 30 is 150, so a must be 150. Okay, so our formula is going to be y equals 150 divided by x, and that is our answer. Part B says find the value of y when x is 10. So now we've got our formula, we can just shove in x is 10. So y is going to be 150 divided by 10, and 150 divided by 10 is 15. Then part C says find the value of x when y is 25. So we've got that 25 is equal to 150 divided by something. Okay, well basically we can figure out how many 25s go into 150, and it is 6. So 25 is 150 divided by 6. So x is 6. All right. Okay, next one. We've got P is inversely proportional to Q. So we can write that straight away. Sound like Jonathan Ross. P equals something divided by Q. And it says when P is 12, Q is 40. So P is 12. And this is equal to a divided by 40. So again, we can times up by 40 to find out what a is, and 40 times 12 is 480. So a is 480. So when we want to find a formula P in terms of Q, we can say that P is 480 divided by Q. Next bit says find the value of P when Q is 60. So P is going to be 480 divided by 60. Well, we can simplify that to 48 over 6 by dividing the top and bottom by 10. And how many 6's go into 48? Well, it is 8. So P is 8. Then part C, find the value of Q when P is 48. So 48 is equal to 480 divided by Q. Well, what would you have to divide 480 by to get 48? Well, you'd have to divide it by 10. So it's not equal to 10, but Q is equal to 10. J is inversely proportional to the square of K. When J is 2, K is 3. Find the value of J when K is 2. All right, okay, so we've got inverse proportion. Now we've got the square of K, but that doesn't change what we're doing. So we've got that J equals A divided by, but instead of K, it's the square of K, which is K squared. Then we can plonk these numbers in. So when J is 2, K is 3. So J is 2 is equal to A over 3 squared. Now 3 squared is 9. So 2 is A over 9. Now what divided by 9 is 2? Well, it's got to be 18. So A is 18. So we can write this formula now as J is 18 over K squared. Now then, we want to find out what j is when k is 2. So j is equal to 18 over 2 squared, which is 18 over 4. Now half of 18 is 9, and half of 9 is 4.5. The weirdest 4 I've ever written, but yeah, 4.5, there you go. Alright. G is inversely proportional to the cube root of h. When G is 2500, h is 64. Find the value of h when G is 8. Alright then, so we've got that G is inversely proportional, so G is A divided by the cube root of h. So that's a little 3 for cube root. When G is 2500, h is 64. Okay, so G is 2500. That equals A over, well, h is 4, so we want the 64, sorry, giving it away there. So we want the cube root of 64. Now what cube makes 64? It's 4. So 2500 is equal to something divided by 4. Now 4 we can times up, and 4 times 2500 will give us 10,000. So A is 10,000. Alright then, so now we can write that G is equal to 10,000 over the cube root of h. Okay. Alright then, so now we want to find the value of h when G is, 8. So we'll put 8 in here, so 8 is equal to 10,000 over the cube root of h. Alright then, now this is a bit messy, so what we can do is we can times up by the cube root of h and divide down by 8. So that would give us the cube root of h is 10,000 divided by 8. Okay, so now we want to do 10,000 divided by 8, and that is going to give us, so if we need to halve it 3 times, so 5,000, 2,500, 1,250. So third root of h is 1,250, and so h, to get h we want to cube it, so I won't do it because I probably would fail miserably, is the cube of 1,250. Feel free to pop that in your calculators or spend an hour doing it yourself. Alright then, and then finally we've got one more question, and it's a worded example. So we've got that the force F newtons exerted by a magnet on a metal object is inversely proportional to the square of the distance d. When d is 4 centimeters, F is 300 newtons. Explain what happens to F when d is halved. Okay, so let's have a little look at what we are doing. So we've got F and we've got d, and it's inversely proportional to the square of d. So F is going to be A over the square of d. Now we can pop these numbers in. So when d is 4, F is 3,000. Okay, sorry, 300. So F is 300, and that equals A over 4 squared, which is 16. Now we can times 16 by 300, and that is going to give us that A is 4,800. So we can rewrite our formula as F equals 4,800 over over 6. Sorry, I'm getting confused here. Over just d squared. Okay, so that's our formula for F. But the question isn't asking us that. The question's asking us what happens to F when d is halved. Okay, well, let's have a little think about this now. So if d is halved, so let's put in some numbers and see what happens. So we know that F, so we can use this formula now. So we know that 300 equals 4,800 over 4 squared. Okay, so we know that from the thing. Now we want to know what happens when d is halved. Okay, well, let's halve d then. So instead of 4 squared, let's do 2 squared. So this is going to be 4,800 over 2 squared, which is 4,800 over 4. Now 4,800 over 4, well, 48 over 4 is 12, so this is going to be 1,200. Okay, so our answer has changed from 300 to 1200. So from 300 to 1200, it's quadrupled. Okay, and that's going to happen every time, because if d is halved, you're almost half squared is going to be a quarter. So if you're dividing by something that's a quarter of the size, you're going to end up with something 4 times as big. So when d is halved, f will be 4 times bigger. So f will quadruple. Okay, and it doesn't matter what d is. As soon as it's halved, the value of f will quadruple. Okay, so that was a little bit more complicated, a little bit more to think about, but I hope you found it useful. This has been LK Tuition. I've been Lucas, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon for some more maths videos.